Welcome one and all. We are here for a marathon today. As Lewis Hamilton once described a 3-lap sprint to the end in Baku, you gotta remember this is a marathon and not a sprint. We're here for Sao Paulo. 71 laps around the Interlagos circuit, 15 corners, 10 to the left and 5 to the right. You got a 4.309 kilometer lap distance. And today, over the course of the 71 laps, we will be racing 305.879 kilometers total. Mixed weather on the horizon as well. We got multiple weather changes to boot as well. You got rain in qualifying, you got dry and rain in the Grand Prix. We are all set for a spectacular event. All 20 cars currently sat in pit lane at this current moment in time. It is currently intermediate conditions as well, as we just await some drivers to exit pit lane, as we are here for round number 4. The top two in the World Championship, the McLaren of Chaldenby and the Scarlet Ferrari of Uri, both tied currently on 93 points apiece. At the top of the championship. In the constructors, McLaren lead the way by 31 points ahead of Scuderia Ferrari, sat on 102 points, and then you've got Mercedes in P3 on 88 points, and that is lovely. That's lovely, Infinity. Mercedes sat in third on 88 points. Red Bull sat in fourth on 77 points, and then Kick Sauber in 5th on 72 points. We have had 3 different pole sitters and 3 different Grand Prix winners in this season so far. Your pole sitters, not in chronological order. You've had Duty, you have had Carl, and you have had Solar as well. In terms of race winners, you've had Uri, you've had Chaldenby, who, by the way, they are the top 2 in the World Championship, and then you've also had Carl. Carl this season is the only man who has converted a pole position to victory. He did that in the Australian Grand Prix, and considering this is a 100% race, the likelihood of a pole being converted to a Grand Prix win is very unlikely. Welcome in, Katie, to the chat as we watch high wire down the main straight towards turn number 1 in a rain-soaked Sao Paulo Interlagos circuit. Through turn number 1, a lot more caution needed as we go through the CNRSs and towards the Curva do Sol, where you remember all the way back to 2016. Chaldenby, God, how do you say his name? Anyway, down the Retroprosta, down towards the Sino de Largo, and I'm saying, you remember around the Curva do Sol, all the way back to 2016, 10 years ago, really, to the year, isn't it? Where Max Verstappen went roaring round the outside of Nico Rosberg in 2016 against that rocket ship of Mercedes. We go through turn number 8 of SA and then into turn 9 of Pinalino, where this circuit, a lot of like Chaldenby, Chalden. It's gonna hurry. Oh, and a rear lock and spinning away. So we'll go chuck over to the Haas of Daniel in the Haas Chaldenby. Is it like Chaldenby? As you saw Daniel having a little bit of a drift there through turn number 11 of Magulio, and then through Junsao. And there you go, I got it. I'm so talented. And then we climb the hill through 14, through 13 and 14, then flat through 15. And the benchmark here in qualifying, it's going to be a 1 minute 20 over to Sneck. In the Alpine, crosses the line, goes a second ahead of the rest of the field, and Chaldenby, tied leader of the championship, goes up into the top of the standings. All about Taylor crossing the line, goes slowest overall. The Racing Bulls of Highwire, who had his spin, will not obviously go ahead of him due to the spin. Then it'll be over to Mackie, I believe, in the green machine. Aston Martin, flat through 13, flat through 14, and then flat through turn 15. We approach the start-finish line, where Mackie will come over the line and go up into second, but it's 9 tenths away from Chaldenby, who is tied for the lead of the World Championship. That is RBK just beginning. Then it'll be Flaben, who has got the Ferrari, I believe, of Uri right behind him. So we'll go on board with the Ferrari of Uri as we climb the hill down towards the start-finish line. Yuri's going to be getting a lovely tow here. I'm not actually sure on the weather as far as the rest of qualifying is concerned, but 13 minutes 15 to go. Yuri, the top 2 in the World Championship, split by 1.4 tenths as the Kick Sauber of Infinity Candy is beginning a lap time. Then it'll be Duty, I believe, coming over the line. The Red Bull machine, where can they go over the line, goes fourth, just around a second away from the fastest time we have seen so far. And then we will go to, I don't know who is actually next. I think it might be the Williams of Olel, who has just actually begun a lap time. So Candy's invalidated. I think it will be maybe RVK up next. We will watch RVK as they make their way through turn 10 of Gp Ttyb, and then through turn 11 of Magulio, and then towards turn number 12 of Jinsao. The middle sector split, not purple, and then we go through turn number 12 with car number 82 in the Racing Bulls, using the pink livery. The rear getting a little bit snaky out on there. Seems to be the circuit might be getting actually a little bit more wetter, unless I'm just, maybe my sight needs to be checked and it's getting drier. But to the line we go, with RVK crossing the line, goes up into 7th place, and then it will be maybe the Aston Martin, unless they both set time. They have both set times, actually. So I am completely wrong, but Flaben is actually up on their time as we approach the start-finish line. There's a Ferrari crossing the line as well. Is that Taylor, I believe? Taylor or Yuri crossing the line. And I think Yuri improved their time to go within 600s as Flaben improves their time. Doesn't improve position as Candy's going again for another Horizon. Tannydran in the background. Sorry, that's Duty, actually. Duty goes into an 18.6, goes up into 3rd, and then it'll be the Williams, I believe, up next, of Olel, crossing the line, goes into 6th place, over to the Alpine of Sneck, who crosses the line, and Sneck was 7 tenths up apparently, but then lost 4 tenths as Sheldon by over the line, and goes into improving on his fastest time with a 17.818, and the Ttyb Championship leaders are currently top of the timing page so far, and Candy making their way up the hill through turn 7 towards turn number 8 of Essay, and then towards turn number 9 of Pinarino, and then there's an Aston Martin ahead, which could give them some dirty air at the later course of the lap, but then we go towards turn 10 of Gp Ttyb, and then through turn 10, this is 100% right, yes it is 100%, through turn 11 of Magulio, the kick sour, the green wheelie bin as people love to call it, considering the lack of performance the Sauer team did show in 24 and 25. Very wide and sliding at the apex of turn number 12 on the exit of turn 12, flat through 13, flat through 14, towards turn number 15 and towards the start-finish line. Where's the kick sour of Candy Floss? Goes up onto the front row. Just under a tenth and a half away from the fastest time we've seen so far as Duty is kick-starting another lap. Then it will be Olel, who isn't improving on their time. What about Daniel? It's not Daniel, it's their teammate of Beaksy, who has invalidated, but obviously that's on that out lap. Then it will be James, I believe. Or maybe it's Sheldon by. Sheldon B. I keep bloody getting them mixed up. As Sneck, might be Sneck again, actually coming across the line. That's Sneck peeling into pit lane. I've got the wrong Red Bull, but there's a Red Bull of Tannydran crossing the line. Don't think they improved their time. Then it will be James, I believe. James coming over the line, and James goes up into P7, and then the Haas behind of Daniel, I believe, just went up into P7. As the Mercedes of Sheehan goes over the line into P14. The Racing Bulls is coming up to the line next. We will watch them as RVK will be coming over the line. There's a Ferrari stuck close to the rear of Highway as RVK goes up into 8th. We will watch Yuri now, who is up by 4 tenths of a second and is on course for a provisional pole position in this qualifying session. The dry line starting to form. The track is ramping up as Yuri over the line to provisional pole by 3.5 tenths of a second. And it is the championship leader who is currently top of the page so far here in this rain-soaked qualifying. Candy Floss will come over the line, won't be able to improve their time. Then it'll be the Aston Martin of Flaben, who isn't improving the time. The Red Bull of Duty has just gone up into 3rd place, who has actually got a pole this season, but I've been notified apparently he's got a bit of a pole position curse, as I think Olel has just improved by half a second, and it'll be Daniel, I believe, coming up next. It'll be his teammate of Beaksy Hunt. Beaksy goes over the line in 16th. The McLaren of Chowden by to the top of the time so far, and the two Ttyb Championship leaders are going next, but they're going tail. I can't get my words out. They're going head-to-head, that's it. I don't know why I said tail. They're going head-to-head in this qualifying so far. Sheehan over the line, improved by 9 tenths to a 20.2, but was invalid. So, Beaksy, although it'll be Daniel up next in the Haas, who isn't improving their time, but it's just beginning. Welcome in Benji as well. Hope you're doing well. Who is that? It's That is Kev coming over the line. Kev improves to P14 as Aston Martin and then the Racing Bulls coming over the line. I think it's RVK beginning yet another lap here in qualifying, and Yuri is going on again. So how about this? We'll go on board for a lap with the championship leader through turn number 1, through the Senna S's with the Scarlet Ferrari using the special Monza livery. Is Candy Floss to the top of the timing pages by 400th of a second. We're going to keep with Yuri though, as Sheldon B isn't on a lap. Candy Floss in the kick Sauber, inserting himself in the battle for pole position through turn number 4, through the scene of the Lagu, and it is currently a purple first sector for Yuri. We climb the hill towards turns number 6 and 7 and 8, through Ferradura, and then through Laranja as an Alpine off of the circuit, letting the Ferrari through, then through SA, then towards Pinarino, with the Scarlet Ferrari pushing on, trying to take back that provisional pole position. The Mercedes coming towards the line, but all the eyes are on the championship leader, and he had to spin. The championship leader spinning, maybe tapping the grass on the entry into Pico de Pato, and the championship leader, the mistake I'm going to guess is rare. It's a rare mistake from the championship leader as Daniel goes up into P6, and it'll be the Racing Bulls, maybe of RVK, who is 63 milliseconds down on their personal best time. 6 minutes 50 left to go. It seems to be that this qualifying is going to be fully into condition. RVK improves time, doesn't improve position. The Aston Martin, I believe, of Mackie has just begun a lap. Going to get dirty air through the first part of the lap as Candy is coming towards the line. Are they going to finally pit? Yes, they are, after 4 laps on those intermediates. Sheldon Bay is currently up on their time, but at the end of the first sector, only 37 milliseconds as the tied championship leader, one of the championship protagonists, is looking to take that up. Paulo Sneck to the top of the timing page, and Sheldon B is currently up by almost 0.2 of a second. That's another provisional pole time lap I've missed, as Sneck goes to the top by 2.5 tenths. But what can Sheldon B in the McLaren, the man fighting for World Championship glory, to the line, and it's not provisional pole. He's missed out by 700th of a second, and then it'll be the Mercedes of Sheehan, who is only up by 800. James in the pit lane, by the way, has opted for the slick tyres, has opted for the soft. Is the rain gonna stop? Is there something we don't know about in this qualifying session? As Sheehan goes over the line, improves by 3.5 tenths to go up into P12. Then it'll be Beaksy up next in the Haas. No, it won't. It'll be Daniel in the Haas, as Daniel coming to the line. I believe just beginning yet another lap. Mackey's not improving on their time so far. RVK, neither. They are not improving as well. Then what about Taylor, who has also invalidated their time? Then the Red Bull of Tanny Dran. No, it's not. It's the Red Bull of Duty, who is also on a outlap. Then it might be the Alpine of Sneck, who has actually set the last lap time we saw on the board, as Mindmaster is also up by 2.5 tenths, almost 3 tenths of a second. James is on the track on the slick tyres, and by the way this track looks, I don't really think it is ready for slicks. There was a yellow flag at the scene of the Largo, and I'm just wondering, was that for the McLaren of James, who was on the slick tyres, as Mindmaster goes up into the top 6, and I want to have a look at this. What are these conditions like? Yeah, there's no grip. There's absolutely no grip on board, off board now with the McLaren. There's absolutely nothing available, as there is a Haas come over along. The Big Z Hun goes up into the top 16. Then the Red Bull of Tanidran, I believe, is just beginning a lap, which they are. We will watch the Mercedes of Sheehan, who is up by 2 tenths but not improving on their personal best. 4 minutes 30 to go here in qualifying, and it's safe to say we've got at least a 4-car scrap for pole position as Tanidran makes their way down the Retroposta down towards the scene of the Largo. But I'm just trying to see, is anyone else on laps? Daniel coming over the line, goes up into the top 6 there. Now let's see how this lap goes for James. Is he going to commit? He will commit. So we'll make sure no one else is coming over the line to finish their laps, as RVK is coming over the line to finish their lap, and RVK goes up into the top 9. What about Taylor? Goes up into 10th. Those two provisionally take the 5th row on the grid. Yuri is out on old intermediate tyres as well. Then what about the Alpine drivers? Sneck currently up by 3.5 tenths, almost 4, make that probably 4 tenths as they come to the line, and Sneck looking to extend their margin, which they do to a 16.672, and it is Sneck extending his margin ahead of the rest out in front. over to Highwire in the Racing Bulls, up by 0.2 of a second, and Highwire will cross the line and will only go into the top 10 as Mindmaster, I believe it was, coming to the line, but is actually maybe out of fuel when it's peeling into pit lane. What about Daniel? No, it's not. It's BC Hun. As BC coming to the line, the Red Bull as well. Tanyjan, I don't think improved their time. What about the Mercedes of Sheehan, who is up by almost 0.6 of a second, draining the battery towards the line. There is a yellow flag for a McLaren off in the middle sector. I wouldn't be surprised if that was James. Was it James? It was James. James finding absolutely no grip whatsoever out on track at this current moment in time. Now, what about Yuri? Up by 2.5 of a second as BC Hun has actually crashed down the Retroposter, and their qualifying is done and dusted. They crashed on the straight, and Yuri's finding pace. He's up by 0.4, but he needs another 0.4 to even take provisional pole on a lap where Sneck, in these raining conditions on track that's ramping up, who set arguably their time in worse conditions. Yuri's got the track beneficiary, but Yuri's to the line, and it's only to the front row, and it's 0.4 away from the fastest time we've seen so far. As RVK can't improve the time. What about the Alpine? Kev goes up into 12th. Excuse me. As Flaben comes over the line and just beginning their lap now. As Kev, sorry, that's a Snack who is peeled into pit lane. I don't think they've actually got time to come back up for another lap. So, is that Snack calling it quits on qualifying here today in Sao Paulo? He's got it currently by 0.4 of a second as Sheldonby is on another lap here in qualifying as the Red Bull of Tanyjan, I believe, just came over the line to begin another lap, I can only say, as yellow flags are out. I think, is that for Yuri? Is Yuri off the track? Make sure you don't get a distance validation as the Alpine of Kev is coming through through SA and Pinarino. What about, is there an Aston Martin of Mackie? Maybe on that Mackie end of the middle sector, and they're up by 9/10. Mackie in the ballpark through Junsao, and then we climb the hill flat through 13, flat through 14, and then flat through 15. There's a Mercedes off in the gravel at turn 4 on the bottom right hand side as Mackie to the line for the Aston Martin crew up into 6th position. RVK up next to start another lap. Is the Alpine coming up pit lane? No, Snecker's called it quits. Kevin is not improving on their time. What about Yuri? There is the Mercedes doing some questionable events down at Sina Largo, and the championship leader has called it quits, and there's a disqualification for Sehan, and has Sheldonby got time to begin another lap time? Sheehan, I believe, is out of qualifying, and then he goes to the back of the field. Simply Will has got a qualifying ban. Then it'll be the Williams, I believe, of Mindmaster, who is beginning a lap, and the Kick Sauber of Candy also beginning a lap. Same with the Red Bull of Tanyjan, who goes up into P7. Then it's the McLaren of Sheldonby, who will be beginning a final lap in qualifying. One final hurrah here. Same with Duty, the Ferrari of Taylor as well, also finishing up here in qualifying, but I don't actually know how long's left due to the yellow flags. How long is left in this qualifying session as Taylor will hopefully make it to the line in time. Aston Martin of Mackie is up through Junsao and climbing the hill. Flat through 13, flat through 14, and then flat through 14. Yuri has called it quits on qualifying. He's P2 at best with his championship rival 4 milliseconds behind as Mackie crosses the line, and it's only P6 over to the Racing Bulls of RVK, up by 2.5. His teammate, he did not make the line. His teammate is 11th at best as RVK over the line, up into 7th position then. His teammate did not make it as a Williams of Mastermind off on the section of the racetrack. Then it will be Flabbin over the line. Flabbin crosses the line, improves their time, but doesn't improve position. Then it'll be the Williams of Valel, who goes up into P10. Then the Kick Sauber of Candy, who is up, but was up by 4/10, but is in the wall. Into the wall goes the Kick Sauber, and it's over to the man fighting for championship glory, who is 4 milliseconds away from his rival, 4/10 away from pole, as Sheldonby crosses the line, and it's on to pole position by just 0.04 of a second, as Duty up in the 4th place, as Sneck's heart has been broken as the Haas of Daniel over the line, into 6th place. Then it'll be Tanyjan, who isn't improving on their time. Then it'll be Taylor in the Scarlet Ferrari, who will come over the line. The Scarlet Ferrari and Taylor, that through 15 towards the line. Where can Taylor and the Ferrari go? 8th place, and that's it for qualifying. It's Sheldonby, the man who is tied for the championship glory, is on pole position ahead of Sneck
by 38 milliseconds. Yuri, 4/10 away from the pole sign, who is only 3 milliseconds ahead of Duty in 4th. Candy, 2/10 away from 5th. And then Daniel, a massive 7/10 away from Candy. And then Mackie was 2/10 away from 6th. Taylor was then 3/10 away, and then RVK was 2/10 away. There's so many different types of gaps, so much different spread, but it is pole position for Sheldon B, and it is his first pole of the season. 4 Grand Prix, 4 different pole sitters.
So it is Sheldon B on pole position from Sneck, and then Yuri. It's an all Dutch second row, and then Infinity Candy and the Australian and Daniel. Then I think it is the Serbia flag. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Of the Serbian and Mackie, and then the Scottish man of Taylor is row 4. RVK and Tanny Dran in the 5th row. Olel and Highwire on the 6th row. Kevin James 7th row. Beaksy and Flabham 8th row. Will and Noel in the 9th row, and then on the last row of the grid was it is Serbian. Oh, it is Serbian. Okay, I am right. I actually did not see who was on the last row to go. Okay, I've got the stream up so I can have a look quickly. So we have got dry conditions for the first time today, for the race start at least, but obviously we know rain's on the horizon for the Grand Prix. Is there a formation lap? I would love to know. Formation lap off. Okay, no there is not. It is just straight into the action. Excuse me. Well, that was certainly an intense qualifying here in Sao Paulo. It is the tied championship leader of Sheldon B on pole position, ahead of Sneck in the Alpine. Yuri, who currently is top of the page, as well the championship standings are concerned, is currently in the 3rd. Then it is Duty, in 4th, and then Candy Floss in 5th. And this is a big chance for McLaren today to extend their lead in the constructors. Obviously, P1 gets 30 points. P2 gets 25 points. McLaren can somehow get a 1-2 finish. They could be picking up 55 points. And then also add on, if they get the fastest lap, there'll be 56 points to boot for the McLaren team. Yuri will be hoping to fight back as one of the shortest runs to turn number 1 awaits us. The run down towards turn number 1 is not very long. It's not the shortest on the calendar. That is the Monaco Grand Prix. I believe it's only like 200 meters or something between pole position to turn number 1. The run down towards the center S is one of the most anticipated on the grid, as Sao Paulo is always promising the spectacle of a phenomenal race. We have 71 laps ahead of us here in Sao Paulo. It is the 2 championship leaders, 1st and 3rd, was an Alpine out of nowhere in the middle of them. Was only a couple hundredths of seconds away from their time. So 2 laps under on fuel because Kev is driving. Is Kev that bad? The center S's are awaiting our drivers. The lap record in race trim, a 1:10.540. That was set by Valtteri Bottas. And season 3's pole position was a 1:07.918. Last season's race winner was Sheldon B. He's looking to go back-to-back here in Sao Paulo. He's claimed his first pole here in Sao Paulo has Sheldon B. Yuri took pole position last season. In season 2, Duty actually got pole in Sao Paulo, and Adam Sanderson won that race. So many different names across the top of the timing pages so far. As the 5 red lights will be going on at a short matter of time. Just a question of when do the drivers choose to ready up. Sector 1, Sector 2 and Sector 3. One of the shortest circuits, but it is one of the most fast and furious circuits, especially on the tyres, especially in high-speed corners, like, example, turn number 1, or turn number 6, turn number 7, turn number 8 as well, turn number 11, and turn number 12 as well. A lot of high-speed corners here, a lot of tyre management will be needed here in Sao Paulo this evening. One stop, gamble it if you want, but I do think the 2-stop will be the optimal strategy to hit today. Based from the wheel, the weather should be overcast, wet, light cloud again, and then overcast. We should have a short period of rain, but a short period which could throw the race into carnage. Will drivers opt to try and brave it out on the slicks, or will there be gambles for the intermediate tyres when it does begin to rain? Full risk, no push. I absolutely love that statement. Was a passion. If you're not full pushing, then what are you doing? It exactly. 18 minutes of qualifying flew by. We had a 4th different pole sitter here in TTYB in season 4. That's season 4 and 4 different pole sitters. I was looking for a 4th different winner today. Can Sneck be that 4th different winner? We've had Yuri, we've had Sheldon B, we've had Carl. Those are your 3 race winners this season, and we are hoping that we can get a 4th one to keep the traditions alive. Just a reminder, 15 corners around the Sao Paulo circuit, 10 to the left and 5 to the right. A 4.309 kilometre lap distance. Here's a fun fact for you, if I get time to read it out. A fun fact that Nathan Richards told me about Sao Paulo. In 1996, Michael Schumacher found a stray dog lost within the Interlagos circuit premises. He adopted it and named it Flo in German, but we'll actually get to that as the 5 red lights are on for 71 laps around Sao Paulo. It's 5 lights on, it's 5 lights out, and away we go. And it seemed to be a slow start by Chalden by towards turn number 1, and Sneck already going for the move. Duty as well wanting to get involved. Duty's already got ahead of Yuri. Through turn number 1 we go. Chalden B has kept the lead ahead of Sneck, and then through the centre rest we go. Candy past Yuri, and Yuri, the championship leader, is down into P5 as down the retropostal we go for the first time in 71 laps, and Yuri is gaining on Candy. He's gaining on Candy in the slipstream, in towards the scene of the Largo we go, and he is clear as it is side by side between Kev and Highwire. As off the road goes the other racing balls of RBK. The 2 racing bulls do battle as well, and it's almost side by side, and Yuri is side by side with the Sauber, but now on the inside goes the Haas in towards Essa, and then in towards Pinolino, and the championship leader is down in the 6th place. As side by side Daniel and Candy are now going in towards Bika. The Pato down the inside goes the Haas, but he does stay in 5th, and Yuri is a horrible start for the championship leader here as Taylor has made a decent start up into 8th, trying to battle with Mackie, but down the main straight we go for the first time, or for the second time technically, of 71 laps. We can get, or we can have a look at what tyres everyone has chosen now as we go down the main straight, down towards turn 1. Soft tyres for Duty and Daniel, mediums for Yuri, as Yuri is making the move on 1. Is he going to make it on another? In towards the centre rest as we go. Not close enough on this occasion, but Duty is getting racy as well, and Duty is looking furious, looking round the Curva du Sol, down the Retroposta, down towards the Tina Largo, and Duty is gaining, but not close enough on this occasion to make that move as Yuri is looking for the move on Candy. But as the championship leader, you don't want to take any risks this early on in a 100% Grand Prix, as Alel and Will go side by side, and on the exit wide went the Haas driver as well, but we can keep focused on the battle down towards turn number 6 and turn number 7. On the inside goes Alel, getting past the Mercedes man as back up to the leaders we go, and Daniel is hot on the rear of Yuri. We want to get that place back to on the soft tyres, and we want to make those soft tyres work here in Sao Paulo. As you go back on board with Sneck and change a lead could be upcoming. The full 20 cars still running, the full 20 cars still within DRS of one another as we go out of Junsao, and then flat through 13, flat through 14 and 15, down towards turn number 1, and Sneck is gaining. He's gaining in the slipstream of Sheldon B into turn number 1. Will he make the move? It's the fastest lap of this race. Is he going to go for it? But not going to. He's going to think better. He's going to play the patient game. Is it Candy? It's starting to go away, but a little bit deep by Sneck, and Duty might be able to get the run round the Curva du Sol, down the Retroposta once again, and this time Sneck is going to look for the Grand Prix lead as they are gaining. He's gaining. He's going to the inside, and the race leaders might be going side by side, but Sneck bails out of it in towards the Sino de Largo, thinking better of it. But now Duty, can they get the move on the rundown towards turn number 6 of Ferradura and Laranja? Up the hill we go, and nothing being done there for Duty as of yet. Side by side between Daniel and Mackie. Mackie getting racy as Daniel's just lost out on DRS to the cars in front, but Sheldon B, is getting racy as what's happened to Highwire? Highwire is off. Where is Highwire off? Oh my word, he went off for Laranja. Go back to your race leaders. It is a 7-car train as they make our way towards Junsao once again. Luckily I prepared a drink this time.
down the main straight we go. Once again, yellow flags are out, and there is for the Aston Martin and Mackie, and that is the second Aston Martin that we have since spun around. But towards turn number 1 we go. Sneck is gaining, but this time, once again, not close enough. What about Yuri? Will he go for a brave send into turn number 1? The championship leader still stuck down in P5. What about Ttyb F1? Once again, not close enough. But Duty once again, round the curve of Dussault, not close enough. You got it now, and you took your Colina. Yeah, close enough. At least I got it in the end. As in towards the Sino de Largo we go, and Duty up by 2/10 on their personal best, but no position gain as of yet, as Yuri might start to get frustrated here. Duty is the outlier of the top 5. The only one of the soft tyres, but in the top 6, if Daniel can get back into DRS, then he will be making it 2 cars on soft tyres in the lead train. But Sneck, through this section of race, I've just seen so much more confident in Chalden through turn number 9 of Pinarino, and then towards Gp Ttyb as Aston Martin currently running in 19th and 20th. Plumb last they are running. In real life, that's kind of a normal sight considering how the Honda engine is powering. But look how close Sneck is getting through Junsao. Moment on the exit of the corner though, that could hamper their chances through 13, 14 and 15 towards turn number 1. Sneck is gaining, and we're heading on to lap number 5 of 71 in towards turn number 1, and he's not close enough on this occasion. And Yuri has actually lost out on DRS, a mistake maybe from the championship leader, and Yuri being put under pressure once more by Daniel, who he actually lost the place to earlier in the Grand Prix, then won it back in an earlier phase. But down the main straight we go, and Sneck is gaining once again. He's gaining once again in towards the Sino de Largo. He's not close enough on this occasion through the Sino de Largo, through turn 4 and turn number 5, as Big C Hun is going wheel to wheel. And what's happened to the McLaren? Almost going very, very wide off the road. And more battles happening between the 2 silver arrows this time. On the inside goes Sheehan. Will look for the up and under, but Sheehan will make that move stick. But back up to your race leaders though. This is where all the action, I say all the action's happened. There's not really a lot of action. How is the performance did you make this lobby with all the Aston in the back row? Hey, this is a casual site now, so I'm not surprised to see Aston back there. But it is F1 25. It is the ground effect car, so Aston, they should be fine. But anyway, towards turn number 12 of Junsao, and we'll go down the main straight once again. And surely for the first time in this Grand Prix, a change in lead is set to unfold. Duty's over a second away. Candy Floss is looking to get involved as well. But the race leaders to do battle. And in towards turn number 1. To the inside goes Sneck. To the lead of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix goes Sneck. And the Alpine driver moves past the championship leaders and into the lead once more after losing out on pole by 38 milliseconds. Round the curve of Dussault, he is now into the lead of the Grand Prix. Candy Floss is gaining on Duty. He's gaining on Duty in towards the Sino de Largo. To the inside goes the kick Sauber man. On the inside goes the Sauber, and up into the podium places goes the Sauber, and Duty down into 4th. And he actually tried to continue fighting, and Duty gets back by on the rundown towards Ferragura. Duty using the battery, getting back on by side by side between Taylor and Ttyb F1. As what's happened to Ttyb F1? Ttyb F1 ghosted, and maybe contact with Taylor, who is up in the 7th place, but it is now Sneck leading the way and already extending their gap to 7/10. Through turn 11 of Magulio, and then towards turn number 12 of Junsao. And that gap already 8.5 tenths. Sneck seems to have phenomenal race pace in this Grand Prix already. There is a massive split in the train between turns P6 and 7, 5.1 second gap. We go down the main straight in towards turn number 1, and Sheldon B is gaining. He's gaining. Is he going to make a lunge to the inside? On this occasion, not close enough. Duty has lost out on DRS in towards the Sino de Largo, but will he be able to get it back once again? Might have taken a track limit one to ensure that they do get it side by side between Sheehan and Ttyb F1 on the inside. 2 drivers on the hard tyres. That's like watching Hamilton and Verstappen do battle towards the Sino de Largo we go, and the race leaders were getting close. It was 2/10 as I saw the time page. I tried to quickly scroll back through, and now on the rundown towards Ferragura and Laranja. Candy Floss trying to get into the mirrors. Let's look how close Yuri is. Wide goes to Sauber. Yuri tries on the inside. Maybe a dive on the inside into SA, but not brave enough to try late on the brakes on the inside of SA through Pinarino towards Gp Ttyb, and surely Yuri will have to show some patience here to make a lunge down the inside. A 3-second penalty for Kev, who is going side by side with Olao in the grass. What's going on there? Was the Williams yellow flags out momentarily? Olao down into 13, well, maybe contact there with Kev, but now the top 2 have run away, and now we can see Candy Floss get back into the podium position. Could we see Yuri as well? We'll go on board with Yuri, who will probably have the best row seats in this, but the race leaders are going to get close. And towards turn number 1, side by side, no more. Sheldon B is through, and now round the outside goes the championship leader, late on the brakes, locking up. And now GT will lose the place, but now Sneck once again down the Retroposter, down towards the scene of the Largo. Is he close enough to make this move on this occasion? No, he's not. Sheldon B, the other championship leader, back up into the lead of the Grand Prix. The pole sitter is back to where he started, as Yuri is kind of hunt down in for the Infinity Candy Flood, as BT Hunt picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits as we go through Ferradura and then through Laranja towards SA and then Pinarino as well. And Yuri just still trying to hunt down the Kicksauber, and he needs to get a move on there if he wants to continue to be battling with his fellow championship rival, as they are starting to break away now. But as I say, that Candy Flow has actually kept the gap maintained, so the race pace might not all be that bad for the Haas driver. Not for the Haas, for the Kicksauber, sorry. As we climb the hill, we make our way down towards turn number 1, and Sneck is gaining. Turn the match on momentarily, but no move will be done there. What about Yuri, though? A little bit shake of the wheel by Candy Floss, and Yuri, the championship leader, will go to the inside and will go up into the podium places. It's now up to Yuri if he is to try and hunt down the Grand Prix leaders, who are currently 1 and 2, and slowly streaking away. 3/10 gain through the center S is a little bit of time lost on the round the Curve du Sol, but down and towards the scene of the Largo, nothing doing there as a side by side between Kev and another Williams on the grass. This time it's My Master and Kev round the outside at turn number 2 for the inside of the Curve du Sol, and Kev up into 9th, and Tanidran now going side by side with My Master. Past 1, past 2 into the grass, goes to Williams. It's a spectacular move. He makes it stick, almost contact, but My Master spectacularly, geniusly enough, backs out of it, and Tanidran now around the outside. It will then be the inside for turn 6 of Ferradura. On the inside goes the Red Bull onto the grass, switcheroo by Kev on turn 7 in Laranja in towards SA, and Kev keeps the place. Lovely battling here as Kev had to weave, and Kev made a late move, put the Williams onto the grass of My Master. That's the second time in this Grand Prix we have seen a Williams in the grass, but once again, for the second time, probably the third time actually, towards the center S's, Sneck is gaining, he's gaining, and towards turn 1, is he going to go for it? Onto the inside, side by side, the race leaders do battle, in towards the center S's, inside this time for Sheldon B, he keeps the place, but then Sneck will try and keep the run on the exit of the center S's, and down the Retroposter, on the exit of the Curve du Sol, down the Retroposter, in towards the scene of the Largo. It's a change of lead once more, and Sneck's back up into the lead of the Grand Prix, and these two are just dueling and dicing for the lead of the Grand Prix as RVK and Alel do battle, and RVK gets through. And on the rundown towards the scene of the Largo, and Kev has got absolutely no battery left, has got some DRS though. Will he make a lunge to the inside of the scene of the Largo? Be bold if he does, but not going to do it on this occasion. Through, I've turned my mic off by accident. I've heard myself then. Apologies. As down through 13, 14 and 15, and Sheldon B, once again, it seems to be a running pattern, doesn't it? I'm not holding back anymore, especially when I can't race because of my injury. Been league racing for 10 years, Kev is the worst driver I've ever seen. Bit harsh, no? I mean, I've seen some questionable things today, heading towards the center S as we go, and Sheldon B, once again, is just stuck behind the rear. In the middle sector, Sheldon B is just able, as the rain is pouring here in Sao Paulo, and the rain period of the Grand Prix has been initiated, and these two, who seem to be clear of the rest of the field in the rain in qualifying, they will be loving this, to see the rain pouring already on lap 11 of 71. We've got 60 laps remaining of this Grand Prix in Sheldon B through Laranja in towards SA, and this is when it seems to me that Sneck has got a lot higher downforce. It seems to be that Sneck is running the higher downforce, maybe hoping that his rain pace will just be able to help him coast away into the distance here to try and help him claim his first maiden victory of the season. Definitely took notes from Thomas Ronhar or Otis Lawrence. Drivers are saying a rain in the area. You can see it's evident on the halo as well, as Yuri has broken DRS now, and the track is starting to get treacherous. When do drivers start to come into pit lane? Sheldon B doesn't. What about Yuri? Yuri doesn't. Candy Floss doesn't. What about Duty? Duty doesn't either.
This is when you want the soft tyres, right? The soft tyres will be the easiest to keep into the temperature range, as the race leaders are going side by side through the center S's. And now around the curve of the soul, a little bit of lag there. Sneck had a little bit of a moment, and the rear lost by Challenby. But down the retro poster, 10-second of pit lane, speeding in the pit lane for Daniel, as in towards the scene of the Largo, running outside at turn 4, late on the brakes, almost contact, wheel banging, hard racing between the leaders in the Grand Prix, and Sneck is able to fend off the McLaren and the championship leader. One of two championship leaders, I should say, because they're tied on points. I don't actually know what to say when two people are tied on points. Do I just call them both championship leaders, or no? This is something else. They both have control, whereas Kev doesn't, and they both learn from their mistakes. Kev doesn't. Daniel and Inters, yeah, it is raining, and contact again between Sneck and Challenby on the rundown towards Bika de Pato, and Challenby seems to have, I was going to say, a lot more confidence, but on that occasion, Yuri is now closing up to these two, and I think it's time for his Inters. You can see the drops on the track. That's when I, personally as a driver, that's when I say it's time for Inters. Yuri's pace right now is amazing. He's gained a second on this lap. Yes, they have been battling, but surely they both box. Surely they're both pit. No! Challenby continues. Yuri continues. The championship leaders have opted to continue on. Sneck comes in, Candyfloss comes in, but gets it stopped in time. Duty continues on. I'm so surprised that Challenby, I'm surprised Yuri didn't come in, really, seeing that his championship rival didn't come in. It's Inters. Look at it, you can see the range. That's when I tell it's Inters. Yes, your Inters will overheat, but you'll have so much more grip. So, Sneck onto the intermediate tyres now, as where will he come out in comparison to Taylor? 10-second for RVK for speeding in the pit lane on lap 13, but there is a long way to go in this Grand Prix. Beaksy Hun currently running last by 14 seconds. Hopefully they can make up some more time as we go into SA. And then into Pinarino, as side-by-side Tanidran and Taylor went, and Tanidran gets back ahead of Taylor, and the Red Bull drivers off the road, off the circuit. Went the pair of them, and Tanidran seems to have a major moment here as Taylor is gaining, but is he going to be able to get close enough? Not on this occasion. Through Ferradura and through Laranja we go. Taylor, it's so clearly Inters. Unless, like I mentioned at the start of the Grand Prix, unless it is like a situation where you might be able to try and brave it out to get past the rain period. What does Challenby do? This will be the indication if he's going to try and brave it out or not. Challenby, into pit lane we go with both your championship leaders. They both pull into pit lane. Make sure you don't speed any of you. Look how cautious Challenby was as Yuri was drifting on the pit entry there. Yuri just pitting in style there. Intermediate tyres are the tyre of choice for, I'm going to presume, everyone in this Grand Prix. Will anyone continue on, though? Sheehan is into the race lead. Goes Snecker Challenby. Look, he's not hanging there. It was majorly the wrong call to stay out. Challenby has lost so much time as I click onto Sneck. A major twitch in the rear through the curve of the so lovely save by the Alpine driver. But that gap, 1.7 seconds, and Candyfloss is close to the rear of Yuri. But it was definitely the right time to come in the lap before. Yes, their Inters will be a bit more burnt out, but they've gained time. Of that, there is no doubt, as Daniel is close to the rear of Duty. Daniel was the one who first bailed in for the Inters. So he's got the most warm Inters as he goes off the circuit, as Sheehan in behind. That's it. Sheehan has silently made their way up into 7th place. I have not noticed that whatsoever, so fair play, Sheehan. And Taylor very close to the rear of Noel. And as we know, they're all on Inters at this current moment in time. Let's have a look at positions gained, shall we? Sheehan, from last, has made up 13 places on lap 14. 13 places gained for Sheehan, 11 for Mindmaster, 9 places for Noel, 11 places lost for Mackie, 4 gained for Will, 1 gained for Candyfloss, 1 gained for Sneck, 1 lost for Challenby, 1 lost for Duty, 2 lost for Taylor, 1 lost for Tanidran, 3 lost for RVK, 1 loss for Kev, 1 loss for James, 4 loss for Highwire, 6 loss for Alel, 4 loss for Beaksy and Flabbin as well. So this is really your sole train now. As the rain has poured, the Challenby has gained actually half a second on this lap. We'll go back up to the tyres for the time being, as all very wide there went the Red Bull, and RVK will be gaining. But on this occasion, it's just a bit of a calmer phase of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It's very deep there. Went Noel, and that could put him under pressure down the retroposta around the curve of the Sol. This is a calmer phase of the Grand Prix where we can just relax a bit. Not in the rain. If it's like, if it is esports level and they're all like they are level for pace, yes, you can expect carnage. But in a grid which has got very close battles, that has got very widespread side by side, when Alel and very deep on the brakement, Mackie, and Alel says thank you very much, I will take back that place. And the Williams driver, who was on the grass at one point after doing battle with Kev, is up into 17th place once more. Reminder, everyone that finishes the race scores points. 30 points for first, 25 points for second, 20 points for third, and then between P4 to P20 goes from 17 points. There's a yellow flag out for, I think, some of the Tanny Giant in the grass. Maybe contact with Kev or something, I don't know. I saw Kev maybe losing a couple positions as the Racing Bulls of High Wire does get back through as well. Side by side between Sheehan and Daniel, and Daniel's lost out on the place, but he's going to go brave on the inside, and there's minor contact, minor correction of the car. For the Mercedes, there's more contact there, a little bit of lag kicking in. That's Roaring around the outside to try and take 6th place once more. Daniel will go down the retro poster, tuck back under in the slipstream, and then towards the scene of the Largo. Daniel will have to concede the place as Sheehan from last up into P6. What a drive so far by the Mercedes driver, as Snack out in front has got extended his lead again by another 0.4 of a second. Yuri is losing a little bit of time to Chalden B through the middle sector at this current moment in time, as RVK going wheel to wheel with Taylor. And now on the rundown towards Ferradura and Laranja, surely not on the inside, especially in the rainy conditions. It's getting wet very, very quick. You can actually see the raindrops flicking up on the circuit now when you go on the off-board. Shop down the inside, goes Simply Will, minor contact with Taylor. It will then be the outside for Pinarino, try the up and under through Pinarino, and then towards Pico de Pato we go. That is a horrible camera angle. And then towards Pico de Pato, lay on the brakes on the inside, space left by Taylor, but Taylor's not able to lose the place. Simply Will's not able to gain the place, I should have said, as Daniel was now losing lots of time in comparison to Sheehan, lost a second on this lap. But look at that gap between Duty and Candy, 11 seconds. That is a monumental gap. The race leader's getting close once again. On second, Kevin Will going wheel to wheel, and Kev almost maybe tyre hook in there as he almost swipes a McLaren, does swipe a McLaren off the circuit. Kev trying aggressively to come back to the racing line, and James had to take evasive action to make sure he didn't clatter the side of the Alpine driver, as Kev, a bit of a menace out here right now, as down the retro poster we go. James is gaining. He's going to pull out to the inside, and down the inside goes James, side by side with Kev on the inside. Around at the outside line favours the Alpine driver, and James isn't able to make that move out of the. We'll stay on board with the McLaren driver. He seems to be the one on the most attack so far. Candy has got back within the second of Yuri, onto the grass momentarily when James Bro does Kev know he's there. Ask him that. So the gap's just now bubbling between a speeding in the pit lane for Olel, and Olel is our first retiree of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Lap 18 is taken to 18 laps. Sorry, it's taken 17 laps for us to have our first retiree. On lap 18, our first retiree was. As Sneck is continuing to is starting now once again trying to build that gap out in front, as side by side between into pit lane goes Daniel. Serving his penalty. That's weird. Okay, strange choice, but nonetheless, Simply Will is now on the rear of Taylor. We will watch from the rear. Front wing damage. No, it wasn't front wing damage. It was serving his sense of penalty. Maybe it's down the retro poster we go into. Oh my word! Oh my god! Holy guacamole! That scared me there, as Simply Will tries on the inside. I'm speechless now. The ghost of Space Boy present. Exactly. As that gap is currently bobbing between 1.0 to 1.1. Once again, deep goes Taylor, and this allows Simply Will to get alongside, and now wheel to wheel
through Magulio towards Junsao. Round the outside. It'll be the outside for Junsao. And he's letting them all through. Kev gets through as well. And side by side we go is James and Taylor as they go side by side climbing the hill. The race leaders now within the second as well as third and fourth. But side by side between James and Taylor. Watching from the side now of James. And now we go back off board. Down the main straight. Look at the rain just pouring down the circuit again. Wetter. As into our turn number one we go. And Taylor is round and spinning. Spin goes high wire. Quite a damage for the Racing Bulls. I think if anything minor damage for Tanyjan. He will now try around the outside, but nothing doing on that occasion. But a spin for high wire has resulted in him getting damage after a collision with the other Red Bull machines. The other Red Bull team, I should really say, as Infinite Candy trying to put the championship leader under pressure as I say that. And as I go on, major moments and loses around a second. Through Pinalino and then towards Gp Ttyb we go once again on board with Kev. This time he is a high talking point, isn't he, the poor man. We go to the gap to the leader on that 20. This train we are watching is 45 seconds away. That's kick out of the rear there from the Mercedes driver, but didn't lose a lot of time. In fact, as we'll have a look at our race leaders. Here they are in the same picture there. That's a lovely shot to see both of them. As you just see, I wanted to keep that helicopter shot. You just saw Yuri in the background. Thank you, Raw Beans, for the raid of 2 viewers. Hope you are doing well. As side by side between James, I think that was, and Mackie is on the inside. Goes Mackie, and that's a lovely move by the Aston Martin driver to get 13th place ahead of James. But now round the curve of Lusol and down the Retroposter, down towards the scene of the Largo. James, I just don't think he's got the battery to do anything. 3 seconds for Daniel for track limits as he was running up in 4th, I think, or 4th or 5th. Up at one point, he's down in 17th. With the freshest intermediate tyres, it's off the road, I think, when Tanyjan what am I saying? Mackie went off the track and Tanyjan was looking for the move. Car had no grip and spanning everywhere. That's unfortunate. So Sheldon B is gaining, right? The tyres, the temperatures will be fine. It's too wet to be concerned about. It's too wet to be concerned about anything in terms of temperatures. Side by side off the road went Will there, and now sliding away, and this is going to allow Kev to run up the hill down towards turn number 1. We'll go flat through 12, 13 and 14, and Will tagging the grass and sliding through Jinsao and down the main straight towards the center S's. Kev is gaining. Will he be brave enough to make a lunge on the inside? Kev is gaining. Will he go late on the brakes on the inside? He will think about it, but he won't go for it into the center S's. But maybe if he can get a good run on the exit of the center S's and round the curve of Lusol, maybe a move to be doing there. A little bit of a twitch to the rear, but same for Simply Will as well. As down the main straight, the back straight we go towards the scene of the Largo, and Kev not close enough on this occasion to make that move. And this is the closest battle we've got on track in a minute. That gap out in front, by the way, back up to 1.2 seconds here into Lagos between your top 2, and Yuri is just starting to lose more and more time as the laps edge on in the rain conditions. The rain seems to be a bit lighter than it was earlier in the Grand Prix, but it's just a question of how much longer will this rain be pouring for. Because from the wheel spin, we have got another 3 slots of dry weather to come, as Kevin tapping the grass and saving the car, and now this puts Mackie on his rear. Kevin, once again, we've seen that a lot today, haven't we, of cars just tapping the grass onto entry into Gp Ttyb, and then it just compromises them through Magulio, and then towards Junsao we go, and Mackie is losing time once again to Kevin. Kev seems to be very good through the final sector on the racetrack, as down the main straight we go in towards turn number 1. On board with Kev once again, and surely everyone will just try and breathe it out to the slick tyre period again, because surely that's going to happen as Mackie is diving down on the inside of Kevin and contact, and Kev turns in. Contact between the front right and rear left, but now Mackie can take the wider line to get a better exit on the exit of turn 2, round the curve of Du Sol, down the Retroposter, down towards the Largo. Mackie is gaining, he's gaining the string, pulls out to the inside, on the inside of the Alpine, side by side they run. Kev ran the outside, off the road, a little bit of a love tap by Mackie, they run side by side, but Kev can hang it out around the outside, and Kev keeps 11th place ahead of the Aston Martin driver. But Mackie, surely a time, surely it's eventuality for when Mackie does get by. If this is the way Kevin will be driving, just mistakes one after the other. Sneck, the race leader with a 3-second penalty, same as Taylor. But now this battle between Noel and Mindmaster, half a second between the pair of them. Your race leaders, by the way, are at turn 5, and the lowest car on the order that isn't that, BC Hun, is at turn number 8 as the race leaders go through turn number 6 and turn number 7 as Noel is gaining on Mindmaster, and into turn number 1 we go. Noel not close enough on this occasion to make that move, but the race leaders are getting close once again. It's the closest it has been in a long while. Sneck oh my word, Sneck 7.5 tenths clear of the race leader, make that 8 tenths of a second. Side by side, Mackie and Kev are going once again. Right on the brakes from Kev. Brave for the brace. It's a brilliant late braking defense by Kevin, and Mackie almost shoved onto the curb there by Kev, but it's a lovely elbow out driving by Mackie as we go down the Retroposter, and Mackie is gaining once again, and to the inside, a late move by Kev, but Kev realised it quickly. More contact between the pair of them as off the road goes Kev, and now they're going to keep it side by side on the rundown towards turn number 6 of Ferradura, and Kev does finally lose that place to Mackie, and Mackie will be probably having a major sigh of relief that he's finally got that move, as Kev will lay on the brakes on the inside at SA, then be the outside as more contact trying to tyre hook the Aston Martin of Mackie, in the place is finally lost for Kev, unless he goes for an outrageous send here as Mackie taps the grass on the entry into Gp Ttyb F1, then gets a better exit than Kev, and the battle finally done between these two as we go back to the battle between Mindmaster and Noel. 4 tenths of a second is the gap between they go through. Track terrorism is entertaining. Round the curve of Du Sol and down the Retroposter we go for the 24th time of 71 times in this Sao Paulo Grand Prix. That was a Mercedes, and I think that was a Mercedes of Sheehan lapping the Aston Martin of Flabben, who is having quite a torrential Sao Paulo Grand Prix, I think it is safe to say so far. On lap 24, and they are already a lap down in this race as Noel still trying to continue the hunt down, as Taylor has got a little bit of a train behind him. Taylor has a little bit of a train behind him, doesn't he? He's got James, he's got Tanny Dran, he's got Highwire as we go through Descent of the Largo, as well as turn number 5, and then on the rundown towards turn number 6 and 7 of Ferradura and Laranja. We climb the hill. Still on the inside, side by side between these two they go. James diving on the inside, almost contact on board with the McLaren. Will he go brave once more on the brakes on the inside at SA? Lovely awareness by Taylor. He wanted to leave the room, which he did. Then it'll be the outside for Pinarino, then it'll be the inside for Gp Ttyb F1 if he can make that lunge. Will he go for the lunge on the inside? No, he won't. The slight defensive move by Taylor, but a lovely defensive move by Taylor as Tanidran, I believe it was actually, no, sorry, not Tanidran, Highwire, who's got that front wing damage, is keeping up with these guys very nicely indeed. As we go in towards Jinsao now, on the main straight we go. It's not really much of a straight this part, is it? As James will look for the outside. It will then probably stay to the outside. I'm going to presume Taylor will just keep trying to defend that inside line as we go in towards turn number 1. But James runs out of battery, and then towards turn number 1 we go. Tanny Duran just seems to have that confidence on the brakes, doesn't he? Look how much he closed up through turn number 1 as we go through this final part of the Senna S's and round the curve of Du Sol. The Red Bull driver will be looking to make moves. He will be looking to get ahead of James and Taylor as we go in towards turn number 4 into the scene of the Largo we go. Once again it is Taylor from James from Tanidran and Highwire, and Daniel is now rocked up onto the back of this as wide went Tanidran, and Daniel will go on the outside and contacting into the grass, keeps it on the track, just avoids the warning and contact between the pair of them. But I don't really think there's anywhere that Highwire could have gone, but he lets him through anyway, and Daniel is up into P16 with a little bit of a rear locker side by side between Ferrari and McLaren for 13th and 14th. Tanidran has got his nose on the inside, then it'll be James looking running outside, and then be the inside for Gp Ttyb F1, and that's a lovely lovely move. He can make it stick around the outside. Goes the Ferrari. It will then be the inside for the Ferrari through Magulio. Then in towards Jinsal. Very respectful racing. A lot of room left. As in towards the inside goes the Ferrari of O'Brien. As around the outside goes the McLaren of James. And surely is the move finally done. They keep it side by side. Got a lovely battle. A lovely move by James, but Taylor O'Brien will pull back out to the inside and will fly back on by, and it's like he just activated the boost mode, as Daniel will now go down on the inside, and it is free abreast through turn 1. On the inside goes Daniel, around the outside goes Danny Duran, and James, who just gained a place, has just lost 3. As James now will look to get back involved as well on the rundown towards the scene of the Largo. 3 wide for P14 is criminal. No, it's not. It's very entertaining. I can tell you that is certain. That's through the scene of the Largo and towards Ferradura and Lorania we go with it's battle for the highest position. Highest battle for P13. 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 are all up for grabs for this phenomenal duel right now. I pressed the wrong button as Daniel, look how close he's getting to the rear of Taylor. 4 lap pressure inters. That is actually quite a lot considering that these inters that everyone else is running were used on a much more drier track. Daniel put these on when the track was arguably a little bit more wet than this. As through turn 11 of Magulio we go, and towards Junsao. Is he going to make a lunge down the inside? And one of the favoured overtaking spots on the circuit. What a 3 overtaking spots I have noted on my commentator note. You got turn 1, turn 4, and turn 12. As down the main straight we go, and down and towards the scene of the Largo we go, and towards turn 1 we go towards the centre exit we go, and Daniel Willie go late on the brakes on the inside, not close enough, but Kev is dueling with Simply Will, and Kev has got the battery, and down the main straight we go. He's got the slipstream, but has he got the straight line speed to try and make a move? Will he go brave on the brakes on the inside, seeing the Largo? He will have a look for it, and loses the rear on the braking, and almost loses the car fully. I wouldn't try it at Central. No, I wouldn't, but in sim racing, anything is possible. Was very wide, I think, went Kevin there. But look how close the race leaders are. 4/10, the closest we've seen so far. Taylor and Daniel side by side momentarily, and Taylor does concede the position. But our focus will turn to your race leaders. Shaldenby will be take, as it stands, take the lead of the Drivers' Championship by 5 points. I saw my Kevlar not delivering the goods this time. Side by side between Mindmaster and Noel, and this battle has been an eventuality, but on this occasion Mindmaster still holds the place ahead of Noel, and I think the rain has stopped, and look how much drier the track is getting. So who pulls the pin for the slick tyres? The race leaders are at, where are the race leaders? But we'll keep an eye on this battle, and Mindmaster does keep the place on Noel, but on the rundown towards Lorania and Ferradura around the outside of Ferradura. There is a crash on the main straight. What's happened to Highwire? Highwire is unspun as side by side between Daniel and Taylor as they continue on into the pit lane. Come all the race leaders here. So is there a jump in the pit lane? So P1, P2, P3, P4, does P5 come in? P5 will continue on. P6 will come in. So the gamble for the hard tyres is on, and they are up today. I think it is dry enough. I wish I could go on board through here to see if it was actually dry enough, but they will come out ahead of duty. So we'll get a proper representation here on if it is actually dry or wet enough. There's a lot of time lost there for Chaldenby compared to Sneck. It's through turn on we go. Oh, look at the lack of grip on the cold hard tyres as on the exit of the scene of the Largo we go, and duty will be thinking, oh yes please get me involved here to be able to 10-second disqualification for Sheehan for blocking pit lane. I'm now curious. Where is it? Where is the car? Is the car out the way? Hopefully the car's out the way. There is the car. They might have to avoid it there, which they do. There's Williams just didn't notice it there. But Duty seems to have a lot more grip compared to these, but that is because of the hard compound tyres not taking an age to warm up. As will Duty now peel into pit lane, which he will. Yes, he will. So 2 DNF so far. as Highwire actually continuing on his intermediate compound tyres. He will come out side by side with Simply Will, but Highwire will keep ahead of Simply Will as Yuri back up into the podium places, and he has now got a 7.7 second gap to begin to dig into here. In lap 30 of 71, we've still got over 40 laps to go. Anything is still possible, mate. Anything is possible here in Sao Paulo, as Noel on the medium tyres will be able to fire those up a lot more compared to the others as we go down the main straight. We go a little bit of a twitch to the rear, a little bit of a correction of oversteer here as we go down the main straight. Flat through 13, flat through 14, flat through 15, down towards turn number 1. We go. Noel is gaining, but I don't think he's got any. He wants to try and save that battery as Sheehan has. Now he said he just retired from the session, but he was already out of the race. That confused me for a moment there. As Noel will maybe try and make this move on the rundown towards turn number 4, towards the center of the Largo, but not close enough. Maybe just going to try and continue to use that battery. Actually, surprisingly, did turn on the battery there. A side by side between Simply Will and Highwire. The final driver to come into pit lane to get off the intermediate compound tyres. A side by side between Taylor and Danny Jones. They were ghosted there. What is going on there? Wait, they're the race leaders? Wait, what? Okay, that's confusing. I thought that was the race leaders then. Huh. As on the rundown towards turn number 4. So once the Largo we go on board with Taylor O'Brien, and not close enough for this game. Look how much the track's really dried up. We're only a 10th away at the end of the first sector from their personal best. Noel still on the rear as Sheldonby has got that gap back down to 1.3 seconds. Through, where are they on track at this current moment in time? They are currently, oh, that's why they were ghosted. So they are currently lapped, the race leader is currently lapped to P13. They are at Pico de Pato at this current moment in time, as Noel is getting close once again in towards turn number 1. And Noel on this occasion not close enough, but maybe on the rundown towards the Cino de Largo we go, and Noel will be gaining in the slipstream of Mindmaster, but towards the Cino de Largo we go, and you can see Mindmaster just showing his defensive shape to let Noel know that you're not going to get this place easily, as there is a major gap between 6th and 5th. 21 seconds. I think there's a pit stop there. Side by side off of the road goes Kev. Where's Kev going? There's Sheldonby. Just the first time I was racing. Kev sent sliding away there, and Kev went rallying there, as I think that was the McLaren. I think that was the race leader of Sneck, and Sheldonby, as Sneck has now lapped his teammate here in Sao Paulo, and they are now within a second. The battle for the race lead is back on here in Sao Paulo between Sheldonby and Sneck, back up to a second now, but you can just see they do get out of the way very nicely, and this might allow Daniel to maybe go side by side as Noel goes wheel to wheel with Mindmaster. Not even a contest towards turn number 1. As now we'll keep an eye on these race leaders. That is a horrible camera angle. Why give us that? Give us this. What will I do now about my fight of doom and evil? No, I don't know. So, is the gap under a second? It is. So, DRS down the main straight for Sheldonby on KSK Sneck. Down the main straight we go towards turn 1. The race leaders have done so much battle so far. Fastest lap of the race for Sheldonby. Looking to take maximum points here in Sao Paulo. Looking to take 31 points and looking to extend his margin ahead of his challenger rival by 11 points. Down the main straight, down the Retroposta we go, down towards the Cino de Largo, and the race leaders are close to battle, but not close enough to do battle yet as we go in towards turn number 4. 3 seconds for Candy. Is now on the rundown towards Ferradura and Laranja. Sheldonby on this occasion not close enough to make a battle, but we climb the hill and in towards SA. Might just try and get in the mirrors really of Sneck to try and maybe put him off. Highwire go. Well, is it the fastest lap? Oh, we did. Get in there, Lewis. As Sheldonby will now try and make this move. And we know, I think it's been quite evident so far this Grand Prix who's got the lower wings. As Sheldonby out of Junsao, flat through 13, flat through 14, flat through 15. We are approaching turn 1 for the 34th time. And is this going to be a contest? Down towards turn number 1. And Sheldonby running outside and into the lead of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and the first time pole sitter this season is looking for win number 2 this season, and is looking to be
our first driver this season to take repeat race wins, but now can Sneak get a move on in towards Largo. Sneak, he seems to be a much more passive driver from what I've witnessed. He seems to be more patient. He knows he can stick to the rear of Sheldon B. He knows he can fight with him. He knows his pace is able to help him recharge the battery to just be able to keep in battle. As my master almost falling away now from Null. That gap was a second. Did he get the DRS? We will have a look as we go over the DRS point, and no, he didn't, but the straight line speed just helping that Williams down in towards turn number 1, but the race leads once again getting close, and that Mercedes ahead of Simply Will might just give Sheldon B a lifeline here in towards turn number 1. Very close. I don't know if it was a second yet, but Sneck's got the battery on, and he is gaining. He's gaining in the slipstream. No DRS for Sheldon B, so it is just this Sneck with the DRS. The Mercedes of Will gets out of the way. Sheehan, by the way, who went from last to 6th. What actually happened? I just clocked that someone who was absolutely flying, absolutely cooking, DNF'd. I know they got disqualified in pit lane, but yeah, Sneck is what? Sneck is Licoin. What? As we go up the hill through Loran. Oh, a little bit of a rear lock there for SA, but was able to catch the car through Pirino, lifting coast. Oh, Lycoing. Oh, Lycoing. Oh, I see. As we go through Magulio and then towards Jun Sao, we enter the final sector. We are about to approach the halfway mark of this Grand Prix. The race, from what I've seen, I've gone back for like to real life races to see how long races have taken. I expect this race to be around 1 hour and 30 to 1 hour and 45, considering the nature of this game, and a 1:10.825. It's close. Have we beaten the lap record? No, we have not. We are 0.125 away from the Formula 1 race lap record here around Sao Paulo. Just to remind you, it is a 1:10.540 set by Valtteri Bottas. What year? I think it was 2019. Or 2021, one of them. Or 2018, or 2017. As we climb the hill once again with the race leaders, as Tanidran seems to be close to the rear of James as we go on the rundown towards Jinsao. Not Jinsao, sorry. Ferragura and Laranja in towards Esse, and then in towards Pedrinho. We go, and James is being put under pressure from Taylor. Beatsy Hun, a 3-second time penalty for track limits here. But race leaders once again getting close, and Sneck has been recharging that battery, and they seem to be under on fuel, but not. I don't know how much. As down the main straight we go, and he's gaining in the slipstream of Sheldon B, and in towards turn number 1, the fastest lap for Sneck. Not the lap record yet. Did he set the same time? Wait, what? Oh, okay, no. It was 900. I thought they had the same time. 900 quicker. My eyes deceive me. Let's look how close these two are getting. Flabber, a 3-second penalty for track limits here, as Noel once again on the rear of Tanidran. No, of my master. I was reading the battle for James. As James seems to be very close and running outside at the scene of the Largo. Off the road, almost shoved that shuffle out wide, but Tanidran leaves the room. But now on the rundown towards Ferragura and Laranja, and not close enough on this occasion. As wide goes James, and on the inside goes Taylor. Taylor has to feather the throttle, but diving on the inside goes James. And Taylor side by side, almost contact ghosting there for whatever reason, as the lap car getting lapped by Candy Floss, as Taylor getting close, but hopefully they don't overtake each other when ghosting. To make our way through Magulio and then through Jinsao, and down the main straight we go. Sheldon B, another fastest lap of this Grand Prix, 1:10.622. We're edging closer to that lap record here in Sao Paulo, as Taylor down the main straight. Will they wave the Sauber on by on this occasion? And Daniel and Will are going side by side, and Daniel has got on by, but back to your race leaders, getting close in the scene of the Largo, but not close enough. as we go up the hill through Ferradura, through Laranja, and entering SA and then Pinarina and then Bica de Pato as well. And then a little bit of a wait there. There's a slow moving Aston Martin of Flabben, I think. Is either Flabben? Is it Flabben? It is Flabben. Something's happened to Flabben. We have got more front wing damage. Front wing end plate completely missing. And Sneck, who seems to be struggling a little bit here now to keep up. Sheldonby seems to have that extra pace in comparison to Sneck now on this phase of the Grand Prix. And the pole sitter is in smooth control of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. The marathon is over halfway through. It can now turn into a short sprint. And we have beaten the lap record here in Sao Paulo by 54 milliseconds. New Formula 1 lap record goes to Sneck. Baba Booey. Challenby actually beat it as well. So we'll go on the exit of Cinderlago in towards Ferradura and Laranja, and Simply Will once again getting close to the rear of Daniel, and as the battle for P10 spices up a little bit between Haas and Mercedes. But Noel still in the rear of Mindmaster, and Noel will be gaining all the while down the main straight towards turn number 1. He's gaining the slipstream of Mindmaster. Would he go for the move to the inside? I'll just go for the move. Have some fun. I'm joking. As Noel on the exit of turn 2, through turn 3, through the Curva do Sol, and down the Retroposta, down towards the Cinderlago. Not close enough to race leaders. Are they going to do battle in the turn number 1? Not on this occasion. What about Mindmaster and Noel? Do they keep it behaved? Which they do. Side by side, that was between Daniel and Flabham, I believe. As Mackie up in 8th for the Aston Martin crew. So Flabham, despite being this far away, still going to be keeping lap time. I Simply Will picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. That will hamper his battle with Daniel. As side by side between Tanidran and Taylor, and running outside goes Tanidran of not 1 but 2 and 3 abreast down the Retroposta, and that's like what you see in Spa sometimes. Taylor gets through, Tanidran gets through, and James once again losing a hat for the places here in the Sao Paulo circuit. This time down the Retroposta in towards turn number 4. And I'm actually what I can do now, I can read out that fun fact. Can we please get a safety car for funniest? Maybe. You might get some luck. Don't know. Right. Fun fact. In 1996, Michael Schumacher. Hang on. I don't know anything about. In 1996, Michael Schumacher found a stray dog within the Interlagos circuit premises. He adopted it and named it Flo. Flo in German means flea, so technically his dog name is Flea. He took it home, and then after the Grand Race weekend, he took it home, back to his home in Switzerland. Thank you to Nathan Richards for telling me that one. I was talking to him earlier, and I was like to him, I want a fun fact for about the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and he was like, oh, I got one, and then obviously said it, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's it. That's the one. So Tanidran once again getting close to the rear. On the inside goes Tanidran. Dispatched of James on the previous lap, but on this occasion in towards the Cinderlago. Dispatches of the Ferrari, who goes for a lovely old switcheroo through the Cinderlago, through turn 5 towards Ferradura. It's a lovely switcheroo by Taylor. It's a lovely bit of defensive driving. There is a yellow flag for the Aston Martin of Flabben, who is in the wall and is sliding. As all sliding everywhere. Could have been the safety car that card had wanted, but nothing happening. Yeah, I don't think there's any end plates on that Aston Martin. Holy moly, a Sneck still stuck up behind the rear with a lovely purple helmet. I myself do love a purple helmet. Must be the AMR 26 fact. No, it can't be. One's P8. As Noel once again getting closer. This battle has been going on for at least 20 laps now, hasn't it? Between Noel and Mindmaster, as the race leaders getting close once again as we climb the hill through Ferradura and Laranja in towards SA, through turn number 8, and then turn number 9 of Pinarino, and then we will await turn number 10, which is this hairpin, of Bika Depato. Lap car ahead, I believe that is Mackie. Should we fact check it? Yes, it is Mackie. Mackie is the next one to be lapped. And there is a 14-second gap between Mackie and Noel. And then a 24-second gap between Mindmaster and Duty. So maybe P6 is the highest car they're going to lap today here in Sao Paulo. Obviously, with the game not having the lap cars overtake the safety car feature, there's going to be a lot of cars whose races are going to be hampered if there is a safety car. It's really only going to be, well, at the minute, the top 8 will be fine. The top 8 will be fine because they're not lapped. But once Mackie gets lapped, he's now going to have to realise he's in that danger period. If there's a safety car, he's only fighting for P8 max. Unless everyone lets him through, as Sneck is almost level with his Sector 1 split time, as he does have the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. So as it stands at the minute, the gap between the top 2 in the championship will be 10 points in favour of Sheldonby, who will be on 123 points ahead of Yuri, who will be on 113 points. Sheldonby's pace just seems to be spectacular. It was a spectacular end of qualifying. It's been a spectacular 43 laps so far. Bit of a calmer phase of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, as this battle has definitely not disappointed whatsoever. But race leaders, they will get close once again as we go down the main straight, and Sneck will be gaining once again. He'll be gaining once again in towards the centre S's, but once again, not close enough between your 2 race leaders here. As through the centre S's we go, probably nothing going to happen down the Retroposta as well. Round the Curva do Sol and down towards the Sina de Largo we go. Watching from the rear of the Chrome McLaren of Sheldonby, one of the championship leader, the tied championship leader. I need a new name for that because it doesn't sound right saying a tied championship leader. It's Noel and Mindmaster are getting close once again. Could we see another change? Could we see another change on the rundown towards turn number 1 between these 2? They have been doing a lot of battling as Taylor and Tanidran are going wheel to wheel through the Sina de Largo, and now on the rundown towards Laranja we go, and they were side by side, but Noel diving down the inside on Mindmaster. Mindmaster went a little bit deep, and yellow flags are out, and that is for Highwire, who has spun the racing bulls around on the entry between the middle really of Ferradura and Laranja. No damage on the racing bulls, but definitely some not so nice tyres. Now side by side, and around the outside goes Noel. It will then be the outside again. Will turn 5, will then be the inside for Ferradura. Will he back out of it? Will he keep it in? He will keep it in. A little bit of lag there. I wasn't sure what he was doing. As around the outside goes Mindmaster of Ferradura and Laranja, and he keeps the place as the Aston Martin of Flabbin is looking to get involved with some battles here as well. How many times is I spun? 4 times? Good question. That I cannot answer. James was a 3-second time penalty for track limit. We know what tyres everyone's on. Have a look at the penalty situation. A lot of 6 seconds. Highwire's on the 12-second time penalty. As Noel, once again, will have another chance into turn number 1. And he's gaining. He is gaining. And surely, will these drivers be able to go to the end? I will put the tyres back up. I don't think people on the mediums will. It'll be a question of tyre management, really, if they will make it to the end. We go down the Retroposta, down in towards the Sina de Largo, and through the Sina de Largo we go now offboard, sorry, I should say, with Noel, with the race leaders once again on the exit of the Curva do Sol. Down the Retroposta we go, and Sneck is gaining in this extreme, but just managing that battery well. But Sheldonby, despite leading all these laps and having clean air, he's keeping that battery topped up a lot better compared to Sneck, around 10-15% more as we climb the hill through turn number 6 and 7, and then towards turn number 8. Kev with a 3-second time penalty for track limit. He leads that train in the battle for 12 between himself, Taylor, Tanidran and James. But does Sneak try anything? Does Sneak try... Excuse me. Bless me, sorry. Race Hards, yes. The medium runners would most likely pit again for soft until the end of the race. Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. Ugh. But anyway, down the main straight we go, and the Sneck finally called it time to try and make that move. You saw him draining the battery, but in towards turn number 1 we go. Once again, not close enough on this occasion. My nose is just blocked. That's nice. A side by side between RVK and Daniel, wheel to wheel. Racing Bulls and Haas side by side, minor contact, and then on the outside RVK goes, and he keeps the place ahead of Daniel. And in a race which is now lacking a little bit of action, a side by side between Taylor and Kevin is squeezing Taylor to the pit wall, and Taylor will now defend the inside as Kev will look around the outside, then be the inside for turn 2, then the outside for the curve du Sol, stuck on the curb, they're in contact, round goes the Ferrari of Taylor, but was able to catch the car after another collision involving Kevin in the Alpine, and Taylor is sent half sliding away at Tanidran and James benefit between them two coming together, and Taylor will not be the happiest chap of that, as the Red Bull of duty is coming to lap these guys now, as it will be Tanidran up next to try and make the move on Kev. I think Kev will be happier to see the Red Bull of Tanidran, who is on those dying medium compound tyres here. Race leaders once again are getting close around the curve du Sol. Down the retropostal we go once again. In towards the Cinderlager we go once again, and they stay line astern. What's that, for at least the 10th lap in a row? At least the last 13 laps they have stayed in this order. As Daniel will maybe have a run on the Racing Bulls of RBK, and towards the Cinderlager he's gaining. Will he look around the outside? No, he won't. And now Kev being put under pressure from Tanidran, but through turn number 1, not close enough on this occasion to do anything. Yellow flags are out momentarily. I think that was just for an Aston Martin maybe having a little bit of a spin. As yellow flags are out for this man's teammate to come and lap them. James has been lapped, and now it is up to duty to now lap his teammate, the white ball and the red ball, going about toe to toe soon, as the Daniel gets past RVK now, and Daniel does make the he must make the move in an unusual area, but look how much more battery RVK has got, and you just see that rear light still flashing for Daniel, and surely it's just going to be a complete swing right around the outside of turn 15 before the start finish line. RVK gets back up into P9. Fun fact, Tanidran is on Tanidran on keyboard. Hang on a minute. No, he's not. I don't believe this. As wheel to wheel goes Tanidran side by side with Kevin. Kevin lets him through, and the Red Bulls are going to swap around now, or are they? No. So Tanidran will now be put back under pressure from Kevin. The sun glaring on the rear of the car as we go down the back straight towards turn number 4, and the Red Bull will keep ahead of Kevin, and can Tanidran now try and run away. Will James be able to get back involved as Taylor continues to start closing up? He actually is. No, is he actually? It seems too smooth. It seems way too smooth to be keyboard. What's the throttle? Oh my god, it might be. BC Hun retired. There's our third retiree of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. On this occasion, BC Hun has called it quits on lap 48 of 71. 33 laps remaining here in Sao Paulo. Is that the race leaders? No, it is not. They have just gone on the exit of the Cinderlager. Side by side once again between these two. And Daniel this time is ahead through turn 1. But now on the rundown towards turn 4. Is RVK close enough to make a move on the inside in towards Cinderlager? No, he's not, and the Racing Bulls will have to stay behind. And Kev is going wheel to wheel with James, and James is through, or is he? Running outside at turn number 3 of the Curve du Sol. Down the retropostal we go, and he's sitting inside, and Kevin is trying to squeeze him, but James is back through, and James is up into P13. Kev down to 14 with Taylor, who made contact with Kev a couple laps ago, will now be wanting to get back ahead of the man who spun him round and flab him. Actually, he's actually going to make up another place.
High wire, another 3 seconds. That's on to 15 seconds worth of penalties now for the Racing Bulls driver, who's currently sitting in a lonely P16. No one around them to fight with, as Kev is staying hot on the rear of the McLaren of James, who is just holding DRS to Tanny Duran. You'd expect these guys to be faster than Tanny Duran, considering the fact that they are on hard tyres and these mediums will be fading away. Could we see a soft tyre sprint like we saw from Max Verstappen in the real life Sao Paulo Grand Prix when he hunted down George Russell and almost hunted down Kimi Antonelli? Side by side once again between RVK and Daniel. We should probably watch this as all contact on the exit of the corner and off. Oh, I thought that was Yuri. Off into the off. There might be maybe contact there with Kevin, as Taylor is actually off the road. Front wing damage for the Ferrari, and maybe there was countdown. Once again, these go side by side through Pinarino towards Bica de Pato, almost contacting Daniel. Keeps the place once again. Kev took out Taylor. Oh my word. It's a classic, isn't it? But anyway, on the exit of the corner, 20 laps remaining of this Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and surely once again it's going to be rinse and repeat of RBK roaring around the outside in towards turn number 1, but this time he'll go on the inside, and once again they do battle into turn number 1. Running outside, Daniel's going to try and hold this one, and Daniel is going to try and finish on the inside. Contact again, but this time it's far less severe consequences when you saw the same contact between Taylor and Kev, who they've come to blow twice within the last 5. Oh yeah, I wanted a safety car. A safety car would massively benefit Yuri. Yuri needs a safety car if he's going to get second, because he's routed to third. He's in absolute no man's land. These two have been 1-2 the whole Grand Prix. As into pit lane goes Taylor, unsurprisingly change of front wing. He will go mediums to the end of the Grand Prix, as Sneck is going to be gaining all the while down the main straight towards turn number 1. Yellow flags are out, and it is the Aston Martin of Flabben, who once again, this is starting to become a familiar sight, but the Aston Martin's just going rallying, it seems to be, as the McLaren of James, I believe, has just now come through as well. So everyone up to, if we go to leader, I think it's glitch. I think it doesn't go higher. Should you say a lap, no? Anyway, James gets through. This is going to give Kev some DRS, so Kev will be quite thankful for this, for the race leader. They seem to always get so close through here, as Noel once again on the rear of Mindmaster. Daniel is going to be put under pressure. No, he's not. It's got DRS as well as RBK, but the race leaders are close. Do just tell the Aston. No, the Aston wants points. Let the Aston get their points as we go through Magulio, through Junsao, and could this be the chance for Sneck? He's had many chances, but it's just played the patient game. Half a second is the gap, but just I think there's a lot less downforce on that McLaren. Yeah, pulling away, even though that we're pulling away momentarily, even though Sneck had slipstream and battery. I know that Challenby was probably using his battery, but the slipstream should be helping him gain either way, as Noel is getting close once again, but this battle is going to continue on once again. RVK is going to start gaining again on RVK will start gaining again on Daniel, as in towards turn 1 we go. They are gaining, and all the while, but maybe turning off the batteries just to try and recharge. Front left lock up, many bites of a front left lock up there through the braking of turn number 1. Just a reminder, your last 2 race winners here in Sao Paulo is Sheldonby last season, and Adam Sanderson won the first ever Sao Paulo Grand Prix in TTYB. As pole sitters, season 3 was Yuri, which was a 107.918, and then season 2 was Duty, who currently runs in 5th as Candy Floss picks up a 3-second penalty for track limits. And it seems to be, not only is it going to be a repeat victory for Sheldonby in Sao Paulo, it's going to be our first repeat winner of the season, and it's going to be a race where McLaren
are going to extend their Constructors' Championship lead, and where Noel is into the pit lane for a set of the soft tyres, and where the championship lead will now be fully in the hands of Sheldon B. It was obvious going into this that one driver would come out in front in the lead of the championship. If someone would take a firm lead on the championship, even if it was just a 5-point lead or a 10-point lead, these are still crucial points in a championship where it's going to come down to the wire after 3 races being level on points. You don't really see that a lot, even just after 3 rounds when there's not a lot of points that have been given out. They are crucial points, as the battle for the race lead will continue once again. The only hope for Sneck, as Kev, which we're on the topic of a 3-second penalty, the only hope for Sneck here is Shallonby gets a penalty, but the race leaders could do battle. Gaining all the while, Flamen at 10.354, fastest lap of this race. Into turn number 1 we go, and Sneck once again just playing passive, not wanting to risk any dicing and dueling with the championship leader. The tie championship leader, I keep forgetting to mention. Noel comes out behind Mackie, but should catch and dispatch in a matter of time. Keep an eye on Noel's delta time, as RVK once again is close, and Daniel goes for a chop to the inside, but it's not going to do anything. RVK around the outside, RVK into P9 once again. But on this occasion, this time it's Daniel with a lot more battery. We go down the retroposter with nothing doing on this occasion on lap 56. So lap 56 of 71, we've had medium tyres, we've had inters, we've had hard, we've had soft. Every single tyre apart from the full wet have been used by all the drivers today. So yellow flagged out for the Kick Sauber of Candy Floss, who actually I think just let through the racing balls there. As into turn number 1 we go, and it seems to be that Shallonby actually picking up some DRS for free here, and he's going to get some more DRS down the retroposter. And could this be the key that Shallonby needs to try and break away? He's going to get DRS down the retroposter, which he does. Will he drain his battery? No, he's not. Fastest lap goes to Noel now, gain 2 seconds on Mackie over the course of the last lap. As Simply Will goes wheel to wheel with Daniel. And what has happened to Simply Will? What has happened to Daniel? Sorry, Simply Will. What has happened? That sounds like a massive Lyco. That's he must have. Hang on, when does Will go straight? Well, I'm gonna have a look. Minus 1.7. Oh, he's finished. Oh, Daniel's not making the end. Jesus. What the hell? Daniel's minus 1.7 laps on fuel. So he's doing. You can hear the major Lyco. So Daniel's bid of attacking anyone is done. Oh, Carl, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. He is absolutely finished, indeed. But the race leaders have been 1-2 for the whole course of the Grand Prix. Obviously, it's been a bit of a stalemate at this current moment in time. Yeah, we had a phenomenal qualifying where these two, they finished qualifying in this order with Shallonby leading the way. Shallonby got pole by 38 milliseconds in a intermediate rain-soaked qualifying, and then Shallonby dueled and diced with Sneck. Sneck led the way in the intermediate period, but then picked up a 3-second penalty for track limits, but then was able to then was repassed by Shallonby. And on lap 58.71, it seems to be that Shallonby is going to get a grip finally, fully on the championship lead, and McLaren will get an extended gap in the Constructors' Championship. Just a reminder for you, your three winners this season: Yuri, who had got 1 win, Shallonby, who has also got 1 win, and Carl as well, who won the Australian Grand Prix. Then we have had 3 different race winners on this occasion so far, but then we are going to have a repeat winner, it seems to be, for the first time this season, unless Shallonby gets a 3-second penalty to win it. Is Ren really game on here in Sao Paulo, side by side between James and Daniel, who is lifting coasting massively to try and resurrect the fuel. What's the fuel saying? -1. Is that -1 point? Is that -1.3?
fair dues. He saved 0.4 already. He is absolutely cooking with the fuel saving as through Ferradura and through Laranja. Not close enough on this occasion for a move. A little bit of lag there. Flabbing another 3-second time penalty for track limits here, as this is the only battle where cars are within a second of each other. So we'll keep an eye on it for the time being. But remember, Noel is the only driver. He's got the youngest tyres of the whole field. He is hunting down Mackie. Will he be able to get back to where he pitted from, fighting for P6? That'll probably be the maximum here today. But if you should continue, Shannonby is not Shannonby. Daniel is probably about to lose another place to Tanidran. Shannonby might be put under pressure from Sneck as Daniel does lose that place, and in towards turn number 1 we go. Shannonby on lap number 60 holds the lead through the CNRSs, through the Curve du Sol and down the Retroposta towards the scene of the Lager. Yellow flags are out. Was that for Daniel just doing some ridiculous lift and coasting? What's it saying now? Minus 1.1. He's saving a lot of fuel. So he's got 20 seconds to Taylor, who has just been lapped by Yuri. Wow, 2 seconds Taylor gained. Sorry, 3 seconds Taylor gained in the braking zone, because of how much Daniel's just lifting off. As this is the sole battle now on the field, as Highwire is actually gaining on Kev. And Highwire, if he can get those mediums to the end, I will be very impressed. What, a 30, maybe 40 laps in? On around maybe the high 30s laps they will be, as maybe this is the chance for Sneck. This is the closest it's been, but don't say Shannonby's just got the DRS. The one chance we might have had for a battle. Yeah, Shannonby gets the DRS. So the battle what we could have had, Shannonby got the DRS, and there will be no wheel-to-wheel action between the race leaders on this occasion. But it seems to be the Sneck starting to get a little bit more confident and starting to close up ever so slightly, ever so more. So we're going to now keep an eye on this battle between Noel and Mackie. How much of a battle will there be in towards, probably I'm going to presume there'll be a wheel-to-wheel moment in towards the scene of the Largo on the exit of turn number 2. Flat through turn number 3 of the Curve du Sol and down the Retroposta, and Noel is gaining. He's gaining on Mackie. Is he going to go for a lunge? Down on the inside. Yes, he does. Down the inside into the scene of the Largo. Almost contact. Off the road goes Mackie, but through goes Noel on the exit of turn 4 and 5. And in towards turn number 6 of Ferradura. Noel is through, and he can now hunt down that 8.7 gap. And the race leaders are getting close once again. Sneck is getting close to the rear of Shannonby. When we cross the line next time around, it will be 10 laps of this Sao Paulo Grand Prix to go, and Sneck will be looking to take the lead of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Shannonby is using his battery as well. We'll watch from the rear of the Papaya Chrome McLaren, who is gaining, who is losing time to Sneck, and in towards turn 1 we go. Will Shannonby be put under pressure by Sneck into turn 1? Not on this occasion. 2 tenths is the closest that we've seen it so far. But now once again from the rear of Shannonby through the Curve du Sol, down the Retroposta. This is the chance that Sneck has been waiting for. Down towards the scene of the Largo, gaining, not close enough on this occasion, but backs out of it. But it's surely a matter of time before Sneck gets by. Yellow flags are out for Daniel, still doing his major Lycos. Let's just keep doing a daily Daniel check. Minus 0.5. He's almost positive on fuel, is Daniel. He can almost start hunting down again. He has lost now over 30 seconds of lap time in comparison to Taylor. Bro grooving like a grass Sneck. As through Bica de Pato and then through Magudio, a little bit of a twitch of a rear for Sneck. We stay on board with the Alpine, the French outfit. We're heading on to the final 9 laps of this Grand Prix, and round Junsao down the main straight. We'll go flat through 13, 14 and 15 in this final sector, and Sneck wants to battle. He wants to battle, but he's got too much downforce really to be able to battle, as he's gaining in the slipstream of Shannonby. We'll look for a move to the inside, but we'll not get close enough. Has a little look to try and put Shannonby off, but I don't think anything will be done on this occasion. Tanidran also getting up to the rear of James, as well as Kev has also lost out to Tanidran as well. Down the Retroposta, down towards the scene of the Lager we go, and once again Sneck not close enough on this occasion. But now we'll go back to this battle between Tanidran and James. On this occasion, Tanidran with 20 lap younger tyres. The race leaders do get all so close. So 10th and a half it was through Ferradura and Laranja. Sneck wants to try and force Shellenby into a mistake. And once we see this battle die out, and once we see the move into turn 4 maybe happen, I want to see how many warnings Shellenby is on, if I remember to, of course. But around the final corners of the racetrack, Jun Sao, flat through 13, 14 and 15, towards the start-finish line. They are a lap down, but the race leaders are very, very close now. As Tanijan, that's going to be a confirmed move. Dylan Wiles almost goes off the road, but now we'll go back to the race leaders now. Sneck is gaining. He's using his battery. He wants to get ahead, as he's gaining in the slipstream of Shellenby into turn number 1. Once again, not close enough, as he's just maybe losing out a bit of time through Jun Sao and through Magulio and Jun Sao. Maybe just losing too much time on that occasion. But now, round the curve of Lusol, down the Retroposta, Sneck hasn't really got the battery now to fight this, as Shellenby managing his battery back really well, just to make sure that Sneck will not get close enough. Where's Shellenby? Has he got any? Oh my god, fair play if he hasn't. Oh, you know what? Fair play, Shellenby. You haven't got a single warning in 64 laps. Like, fair dues. That's incredible. That is consistency perfectly shown there, by the way. But is this the chance now on the exit of Jun Sao, and down the main strip we go once again? It's just it creeps up to half a second every time on the exit of the corner. So once again, he's just going to have to sit and wait behind as we go in towards turn number 1 again. Noel's pace has been dying down. Maybe the soft tyres weren't the right choice. Maybe if he didn't have any mediums left, then better than Lando Norris. Lol. But down the Retroposta we go. No rain forecasted, but you see the clouds are building up. But based from the weather wheel, there is nothing to have occurred. It's just meant to be overcast conditions now as we make our way towards Ferradura and Laranja. We go through turn 6, through turn 7, towards turn 8 of SA on lap 65 of 71. Looking back on this race, it has been a very good race. It has been action-packed throughout the field. It has been very entertaining, but it's absolutely flown by as well. I think that's safe to say. 65 laps gone like that in the snap of your fingers. But now, once again, is Sneck going to get a poor run? We'll go on board with him on this occasion. We haven't really seen him how he navigates Jun Sao, and this is a good exit, and this could be the moment that we've been waiting for. Sneck will maybe get the chance in towards turn number 1. He's got the DRS, he's gaining in the slipstream, got the battery on, he's gaining the slipstream of Shellenby, pulls out to the inside. Will he go for the move? Not close enough on this occasion, but Sneck will maybe get the run on the exit of turn 2, on the exit of the center S's, and round the curve of Lusol, down the Retroposta, and once again they're approaching Kev in the battle with Highwire, as Highwire, you just see in front of him, gets through as well. But on board with Sneck, in towards the scene of the Largo, not close enough on this occasion as Mackie into pit lane. That's a very late pit stop. Is there a puncture? Doesn't look like it. Very late pit stop here. To be fair, he's not good. He might. Oh, yeah, smart actually. Yeah, fastest lap point. So Sneck maybe losing a bit of time now. Maybe those ghosted cars putting him off a little bit here. Yeah, it looks like the mediums was the right tire to pit on if you're Noel, but he will get a solid P7. Yeah, I mean, he's still gaining on Mindmaster, so there's all the chance still with 5 laps remaining here in Sao Paulo as we climb the hill. Once there will be no battle on this occasion. These are the only 2 drivers within DRS range, within the second of each other as we go on to lap 67 of 71. 5 laps remaining here in Sao Paulo through turn number 1. Almost clipping the grass was Sneck. He was dreaming of what could have been his, please correct me if I'm wrong, what could have been his first ever race win here in TTYB. I don't know if he's a race winner before, but Sneck was looking as there is a yellow flag out for an Aston Martin of Flabben once again. And once again, front wing damage as we climb the hill through turns 6 and 7 for Ferradura and Laranja, and then towards turn number 8 of SA, and then in towards turn number 9 of Pinarino, I should say. Turn number 10 is Bica de Pato, which they are about to start braking for
now as high wire. 35 laps on those medium tyres is still on the rear of Kevin. My goat Flabbin. Snack, do something, please. Maybe. Taylor picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits as down the main straight we go once again. Half a second the gap once again. Watching from the rear. Flabbin has... Why would you... Okay, I'm not going to question it. Sheldon B is being put under pressure. I say being put under pressure. Hasn't really been put under pressure at all in the most part of this stint. Ever since Sheldon B retook the lead, he hasn't been touched at all, really. As we go down towards the logo, fastest lap for Daniel, 109.317, absolutely smashing the IRL Formula 1 lap record by 1.2 seconds here. But Sneck just needs to recharge that battery, because if you look at the steering wheel, look at Shadowme's steering wheel, look at Sneck's steering wheel. The steering wheels are just completely, the batteries are just completely different, which is different. Which is weird, because Sneck was managing his battery really well in the early phases of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. On lap 68 of 71, we're about to approach the final 3 laps of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. In an action-packed Grand Prix, Noel has still got the chance to get Mindmaster. Highwire still got the chance to get Kev, who has been involved in many, many incidents, including 2 with Taylor. 1 on the exit of the Curve du Sol, and 1 on the entry of Turn 1, which we didn't quite see. But from what others have said, I have been told that it was a collision between Taylor and Kevin through the center rest as we go once again, and Sneck is probably just trying to go all in here as Kevin Highwire do go battling side by side, and there's a little bit of a moment there for Highwire as now we go round the Curve du Sol, down the Retroposta on 3 laps remaining, and 3 laps of dueling left for all these drivers, down towards the scene of the logo, down towards turn number 4. Not going to go for it on this occasion, but back to your race leaders as into pit lane once again goes Daniel. Maybe just going to try and treat this as qualifying, really, just keep going for more sets of soft compound tyres. 40 laps done on these hard compound tyres. It is a phenomenal tyre race. This has been just pushing these tyres to the maximum, see how long they could go. They could probably do another 10 laps, really. No, within 1 second for Mindmaster. Yes, he is indeed. But we'll keep an eye on the race leaders battle, as this is the closest it has been. But it just seems to be on the phase on the exit of Jun Sao through 13, 14 and 15. The battle is on for the race lead into turn number 1, but once again, on the penultimate lap, we go on the penultimate lap of this race, and Sneck once again just not close enough. Maybe just going to try and power up and recharge that battery pack for the final lap to try and win the Grand Prix on track. But it is going to be a race where you're going to see Sheldon B take the lead of the Drivers' Championship to try and be able to dislodge Yuri from the top of the championship, in a race where he has been leading for so long. He got pole position for after a long action-packed qualifying. Sneck needed to save for a lap. Properly challenged. Battery management has curtailed his shot precisely indeed. But if you look at his battery now, he's up to 50%. But if we now look at Noel, who is getting close, he's in an absolute clobber of cars here, as Noel is gaining on the rear of Mindmaster, and that gap is just half a second. But as you can see, the leaders on the bottom right are making their way through Jun Sao. We're going to keep an eye on them. Final lap of this race is underway, and this is once again the closest it has been. Towards turn 1 we go for the final time in this Grand Prix, and Sneck is gaining. He's gaining the slipstream off Sheldon B. He's going to go round the outside, or is he? Sheldon B goes to the outside as Sneck wanted to go round the outside, but then there's a late defensive change as through the centre as we go. That is probably it, done and dusted for Sheldon B, as down the Curve du Sol, down the Retroposta we go, and there's not going to be anything done there, as Mindmaster's being put under pressure from Noel. In towards the centre S as we go, around the Curve du Sol we go once again, with 6th and 7th on the race, as this is on the final lap of the race. Mindmaster being put under pressure, but I think he's just got enough battery. Noel is gaining, he's gaining in the slipstream, but not close enough on the Williams, and then gives him a shuffle out wide, and Noel, as Daniel gets the fastest lap of this Grand Prix, can Noel maybe make a lunge on the inside? As Duty and Candy going side by side, and Duty gets up into 4th place, but it was going to be 4th anyway due to the penalty. But can Noel get anything done about it?
But I don't think he's going to figure out. You've got to look to the front. You've got to look to the man who claimed his first pole position of the season. You've got to look to the man who won in Sao Paulo last season. You've got to look to the man who's going to take his second win of the season. And for the first time in season 4, it's going to be a repeat victor. It's Sheldon B in Sao Paulo winning the Brazilian Grand Prix ahead of Sneck. And Sheldon B will take the lead of the championship. P1 in the drivers, and it's P1 in the constructors. Yuri, the former championship leader, will finish third, as now Yuri is 10 points away from the top of the championship. Duty is a long, long way away. 79 milliseconds, by the way, split Noel and Mindmaster. The charge was close, but not close enough for Noel. Duty will come round the final corner, as Candyfloss got a puncture. Oh, fuel! Fuel. He's out of fuel. Noel's out of fuel. No, Candyfloss is out of fuel. Duty will come across the line in P4. It will be Candyfloss coming across the line in 5th. But say hello to your new championship leader. Sheldon B has taken the official lead of the championship. He was tied for it, but now he properly leads it. And as well, McLaren extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship. What a race that was. Daniel is chuffed that he made the end of the race with the fuel. We were doing updates on your we were doing updates on your fuel, Daniel. We kept checking in. I was a bamboozle when you made up 0.4 in the lap as Sheldon B slips while celebrating, and that is victory for the British driver ahead of the Romanian and the Dutchman. 3 different nations, 3 different teams, all on the podium. The trophy lifted high and proud after a difficult and tough and exciting 71 laps of Sao Paulo. Champagne is sprayed where the drivers can celebrate after a dry, a wet, and then a back to dry Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We had raining. It was basically dry, wet, because if you include qualifying, it started out as wet. Scarlet Ferrari on the podium as well. The 2 championship protagonists finished 1st and 3rd. Not the 1 and 2 that we was expecting going into this race weekend, but it is P1 for Sheldon B, P3 for Yuri, another podium for Yuri, but it's another win for Sheldon B. I wish I could get race results and see the driver of the day and that, but my game has just given me a black screen, so that is absolutely lovely. So I can now add on to my list that it is win number 2 wins for Yuri. Oh, there we go. We can have a look. Oh, I can have a look. Driver of the day was given to Mindmaster, who I'll have to have a look where he started and where he finished. It is 4 different pole sitters this season. Still 3 different winners, but for the first time this season, it is a repeat winner under the name of Sheldon B. Mindmaster P19 to piece. Oh, that's a very deserved driver there. Mindmaster beating Noel by a mere hundredths ago. And in the Williams. Was it realistic performance or equal? It was equal. I thought it was real. Oh. Okay. Well. No bias. Nah, definitely no bias. I don't know about. But after 71 laps of racing, after 18 minutes of qualifying, there was only one winner. There was only one man who finished both the sessions at the top of the timing page. Sheldon B finished qualifying at the top by 38 milliseconds. Sheldon B then finished top of the race by, I think it was like 6 tenths when they crossed the line, but obviously after the penalty was applied, 3.6 seconds. But I would do interviews, but because I'm on Xbox, I can't because Xbox doesn't like picking up Discord audio. I'm gonna use that flab going slow. Oh my goodness me! But it's fine, Rio will make it up for next week. Carl, the most important thing is that you're good. Interview shall be had. Yes! Carl, the most important thing is that you're feeling well, which I think you said you were feeling better.
I'm actually going to go and fact check that now. A bit better, thank you. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you are feeling better. That's good. That is much better. But thank you for getting there for sure. That I'm glad you're getting there. But I think I can call that quits. For now, we have a new championship leader by the name of Sheldon B. We have another new pole sitter this season by the name of Sheldon B. Constructors Championship, McLaren extend their lead. Sheldon B now has a lead of 10 points in the Drivers' Championship. It has been a phenomenal Sao Paulo Grand Prix. 71 laps have whizzed on by. My name has been Rio Harris. If you don't know who I am I'm a young photographer and sim racer and commentator. But yeah, oh, Boxy smashed it. Thank you, Carl. Looking forward to being in the Boxy next weekend. I met Carl. I can't describe how buzzing, how excited I am to be commentating with you. Yeah, he's done really well. Really well. It's good to have you on the board. Thank you, Katie. Well, I think we can call it quits. My name's been Rio Harris. Carl is very scary in the box. He can't be that scary, mate. Carl's a lovely gentleman. But left, right, good night. I'm using that. But so my name's been Rio Harris. Thank you all for tuning in for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. And as Carl has just said, left, right, and good night. Goodbye. Bye!